Carving out of marble began thousands of years ago. In fact, we think some of the earliest carvings were these Cycladic figures made in the Cycladic islands of Greece. The Cycladic islands of Naxos and Paros were both famous for the quality of their marble and used by both Greek and Roman sculptors. Many other quarries existed in ancient times, including ones on mainland Greece and also Italy. Each type of marble was chosen for its appearance. Marble from Paros, or Parian marble as it is called, was admired for its translucence. Although some of the tools have changed with technological advances, the actual process of marble carving has changed little over thousands of years. There are three basic steps: the process of roughing out or removing the outer surface and creating a general form, then modeling or removing smaller bits of stone to where the basic shape is complete, and finally finishing and polishing. This is a sculpture of the Roman Emperor Caligula, who ruled from 37 to 41, so almost 2,000 years ago. Caligula was actually a nickname, which meant little boots. His real name was Gaius Julius Caesar Augustus Germanicus. Whoa, that's a mouthful. His father was a great military general, Germanicus, and while on military campaigns, Caligula and his family would travel with Germanicus. When Caligula was little, they dressed him in miniature soldier's uniform, complete with soldier's boots, called caliga, hence Caligula. Caligula was known as one of the mad or crazy emperors of ancient Rome. There are so many stories about him, not all of them 100% accurate, but some of the stories we hear about his horse and how much he loved his horse. He even threatened to make him a consul, which was like a high position in the government. They also say that his horse had a fancy stable made out of marble and that he would actually have soldiers go around to keep everything quiet so his horse could get rest. But enough about the man. Let's look more closely at the sculpture. This sculpture of Caligula is really important for a number of reasons. It's one of only two full-length sculptures of Caligula that exist in the world that we know of. The other one is on the Greek island of Crete and shows Caligula as a young boy. The fact that this sculpture exists at all is impressive. Caligula ruled for less than 4 years before he was assassinated. He was so unpopular that almost all images of him were destroyed, defaced, or recarved into somebody else. The sculpture was also carved to the highest standards of the time. The head and the body were carved by one master sculptor out of one piece of marble, which was actually unusual for the time. The detailed, highly skilled carving also gives a sense of the overlapping layers of clothing that Caligula wears, and even shows press lines, the lines that an actual toga would have had after being folded and stored in a chest when it was not in use. And all of this was done in stone. Clearly, a lot of care and time were taken with this image of Caligula. If we look at what Caligula is wearing, we can actually tell a little bit more about what the statue was supposed to communicate. Clothing was an important indicator of status in ancient Rome. So let's take a look. He first wears a tunic, which is like a large t-shirt of sorts. And over top of that, he wears what they call a toga, which was actually the official garment of the male citizen in ancient Rome. So if you were a male citizen, you were supposed to wear the toga for official events. The toga could be so long, it was up to 20 feet long. It was really complicated to put on. You had to have a special person help put it on you so it draped just right. Something else interesting about these sculptures is that they would have been brightly painted. So Caligula's hair, eyes, skin, and clothing would have all been painted. The color of clothing was an indicator of status or importance for the wearer. The museum did some more testing a few years ago and found traces of two pigments, or paints, that together would have produced purple. Because of the location of the paint, we don't know exactly what color Caligula's toga would have been, so there are a few different options for what he would have worn. Caligula's toga could have had a purple stripe on the border, which would have identified him not only as a citizen, but specifically an important government official, perhaps a senator. The toga could have been all purple, or purple with gold embroidery. These would have indicated he was of the highest rank. But Caligula is not the only marble sculpture we have here at VMFA. Come and check them all out.